everyone, and welcome to our fourth episode of Swooning Over Stands. So, automatic, quick saved, then we also have this. And I think we should also go through the gallery to show you guys. Look! We have the boys. Look at him. Look at him. And that's all we have for Ford. However, we don't have any for Stanley because we haven't taken the Stanley route. Now, if you guys would like to see me take the Stanley route, just let me know. I'd love to. You know, just kick some butt. You know. Okay. You don't think you've been more nervous in your life. Ah, that was loud. Mabel came up with you yesterday when you were shopping for extra clothes. Since Stan's mechanical skills left your car still being worked on, you realized you needed more clothes than you'd packed. However, she managed to sneak in a relatively fancy set of clothes to add to your pile of summer-appropriate clothing. She flourishes them in your direction with a wide, brace-faced grin. Ta-da! For tonight, you stare at the fancy outfit like it's going to jump out of Mabel's hands and attack you. Mabel, are you sure Ford agreed to this? Of course he did. I asked him and everything. He dropped whatever he was working on instantly. And he had the other stuff on his desk but fell on the floor. And then he said, I'd love to. I'll need a fashion makeover. Please help me, Mabel. You're my favorite great niece. So he actually said something else, but he said yes at the end of it. Now come on! I have to put the finishing touches on this perfect date. Get dressed and come to the living room! Water. Hydrate, people. She shoves the clothes at you and leaves the room for you to get yourself ready. Oh no. You put on the oh no. You put on the outfit Mabel picked for you and head back to the living room where Dipper promptly guards the way to the kitchen with his noodle arms. Mabel wants to keep you in here until the Gradle Ford is ready. Okay, I'll stay here. You take a seat in Stan's recliner, trying to look relaxed and composed, but your shaking hands give way to Dipper, who's reading in front of the door. You look nice. I know Mabel picked it, I kinda helped, but it's nice. He's trying to distract you. Sweet kid. You smile at him, he smiles back before returning to his book. The Field Guide to Bigfoot. Echo, you can come in now! You jolt to your feet, heart in your throat. Any advice, Dipper? Dipper stands up and awkwardly pats your hand. Just be yourself, Echo. Uncle Ford likes you, I can tell. Trust me. He gently shoves you towards the kitchen door. It looms in front of you menacingly. Now, go get him, Tiger. Is that weird to say? Good luck up there. Dating my great uncle. Gross. Anyway. Shut up, Dipper. With surprising strength, Dipper pushes you in through the door as Mabel opens it, and you stumble into the kitchen, look up, and oh god. Oh god, Ford's dressed up too. He's in a three-piece suit with a maroon necktie. How did Mabel know your only weakness? Well, that and... wait, he has flowers. You make eye contact after examining one another, and you feel your face flush as red as his. Mabel beams, clapping her little hands together. Yay! Now's the moment we've all been waiting for! The Mabel certified dinner date of dreams! I knew Grunkle Ford would be hopeless on a romantic dinner date alone, so I'm here to make this one perfect! You now notice she's wearing a bright pink apron and that something smells very burnt. Mabel. Dipper pushes you further into the kitchen. Mabel shoves Ford forward, and the two of you stumble, almost colliding into one another. Ford straightens up and clears his throat, his face as red as his tie. Well, these are for you, Echo. You take a closer look at the bouquet and discover that a third of the bouquet is real flowers. They look to be picked from outside the shack. Another third are pipe cleaner flowers with glittery petals, and another third are origami lilies. I have a little sister named Lily. Oh my god, it's perfect! Judging by both Dipper and Ford's paper cuts, Mabel's sparkly, glittery, sticky fingers, they have collaborated to make the bouquet themselves. Aww! This is the cutest thing you've seen in your life. How many paper cuts did you guys get from these? Ford laughs, rubbing the back of his neck with his free hands as you take the flowers from him. Quite a lot, unfortunately. Mabel found a tutorial on the line. Online, Grunkle Ford, online! Isn't that what I said? And Dipper and I worked on them yesterday. They're beautiful, Ford. Thank you. Ford blushes, grinning bashfully at you. And Dipper, of course. Dipper smiles at you too, but with an awkward laugh. Dipper takes the flowers off you and manages to stuff the bouquet into an empty 2-liter bottle of pit. Damn. Sticking it in the middle of the table so you can't see Ford anymore once you sit down. You carefully scoot the vase to the side until Ford's pink cheeks and nervous expressions are visible again. Even if you're certain, you look even more pink with embarrassment. Well, I'll leave you guys to it then. Chef Mabel, are you ready? Sure am, bro. So ready. Mabel is standing on top of a stool and readying 2 plates of food, contents of which you can't stand, yet due to the mass of her hair and Dipper's hat, Ford waves at you and you turn to him, leaning forward so he can whisper to you. Do you have an idea of what is going on over there? As long as there are no Brussels sprouts in the mix, I'll pull through. Admirable. Hopefully there are no sprouts in those. And there. Always hated those as a kid. Mabel whirls around and hops off the stool, brandishing 2 glasses of something disturbingly bubblegum pink. She places them down on the table with a flourish. Ta-da! 2 tall glasses of maple juice. Such delicacy. What ingredients did you use? You glance at Ford, giving him a face of play along, please. Don't leave me alone in this. Oh yes, Mabel. This looks truly exquisite. Pray tell, what is your method? Are the plastic dinosaurs and Monopoly pieces just decoration for this fine creation? Mabel is too busy giggling at you both to answer, and thankfully doesn't notice that neither of you touch your drinks. Ford is too busy smiling at you from across the table as you ask Mabel about her secret ingredients for the maple juice, or whether she used a blender or food processor to mix it all together, calling it truly a true work of art. Anyways, on to the main course. Voila! She turns back to the stove and grabs 2 pieces of food covered with a cloth. She places one in front of Ford and another in front of you before stretching across the table, pulling both the cloths off the plates at once. What awaits for you on each plate is horrifying, to say the least. There's a plate outlet. There's a pile of 3 very burnt chicken nuggets, dinosaur chicken nuggets, as if you'd expect anything else. Some sort of half-wet, half-dry noodles with a slice of cheese draped on the top, and a handful of jelly beans, the special ingredient, of course.
The Mabel special! I'm not a fancy cook. I'm just a cute little girl, but I slaved away at this romantic dinner for the 2 of you, dang it.
Mabel, this looks to you panicked.
I'm not exactly sure what to eat first. There's so many choices. I suggest cleansing your palate with the jelly beans first, and then digging right into the mac and cheese. And I got that bit from those weird cooking shows Uncle Stan left on TV when he fell asleep.
I got an idea. Now that's an idea I can get behind. The jelly beans, I mean. Not if I steal your jelly beans first. Ford arches a brow at you, but he grins at your pseudo-challenge. You can take my jelly beans, alright, over my burnt chicken nuggets. You're on. You and Ford dig into the jelly beans, going as far as trying to spear them on your forks to play the part of high cuisine dinner. Ford seems to relax a little as the dinner continues, but once the last jelly bean has been eaten, you go silent once again. Ford glances at you and the remains of his food, swallowing hard. Mabel rushes in to save the date. Oh, of course! I forgot the sauces and stuff. Silly Mabel. Mabel goes into the fridge and grabs bottles of ketchup and mustard, placing them on the table next to... Is that the blue glitter we used on the cupcakes?
Yup, and you're lucky there's still some left.
Why is it here?
Garnish, silly.
Blue glitter. Pick up the glitter and shake some onto the burnt chicken nuggets. While they're now blue and twinkly, the glitter hides the burnt bits and make the nuggets look a little more fabulous. Why? They're pretty now.
Add a little glitter and anything's possible.
Ford laughs, and you hold the bottle of glitter in front of him, shaking it enticingly. Come on, join me with my pretty nuggets. If you say so. Ford decorates his nuggets with glitter, and your respective plates shine under the kitchen light. Mabel looks at you both expectingly, like you're going to chow down on your dinners now that they've been appropriately sauced up.
Eat up, you still got a lot of food left.
For Mabel! You gingerly pick up Ford! You gingerly pick up one of the chicken nuggets and take a very small bite out of the edge. It's crispy and burnt, but edible to some extent. You swallow your bite and quickly take a sip of your drink. Ford stares at you in total awe, like you just defeated a grim goblin with one punch. You have glitter on your mouth.
Oh, I do? Where?
You lean forward in question, and Ford carefully reaches his arm over the table, wiping the glitter from your bottom lip. Both of you flush at the gentle contact, especially all the while since he's gazing down at your mouth, hopefully thinking the same thing that you are. There, got it. This is freaking adorable. Yeah, it's freaking adorable. He sits back down in his chair. You do too, avoiding contact until your faces turn back from red. Mabel squeaks in the corner, clapping her hands together. Mabel stares at you both, bright-eyed and bushy-tailed, awaiting some sort of magic to happen. You swallow nervously and look to Ford before your cup in hand at the side of your mouth, hiding mouth words from Mabel Dye. I have an idea. You tap your head with your other hand, characterizing idea charading your idea further. Ford gestures across the table as if to say, the floor is yours. Okay. Ask Mabel about dessert. Mabel, what do you have planned for dessert? At this classy establishment, there must be some sweet treats up for grabs. Oh? Yeah, I think Dipper was gonna help me with those. Dipper? Mabel hops down from her stool and snaps her finger at the two of you. No canoodling while I'm gone, okay? She leaves you both red-faced and stammering as she skips out the door. Ford turns to you, smiling nervously. I know Mabel tried her best, but I'm not accustomed to the dating game, as Stan calls it. For the first time in a while, I don't know what to do. Do you? Oh my god, he's precious. You stop thinking for a moment. Dipper told you something earlier that day. An idea in case the Mabel certified first date of dreams went AWire. You suppose this is the perfect moment to enact Plan B. Alright, but we gotta act fast. Watch my movements. You pick up your plate and struggle not to laugh as Ford mimics you almost perfectly. You shovel the contents of your dinner into Waddle's mouth. The piglet chews and swallows and nuzzles your leg. Really? According to Dipper, Waddles will eat almost anything. You give him yours too. That way it looks like we ate. You hear footsteps thudding down the hallway. Mabel's on her way back. And quick! You quickly push Waddles towards Ford, who quickly feeds him the rest of his dinner. Waddles snorts happily at you two before settling between your feet, content and full. I'm back! And hey! You guys were just kidding around. What'd you think of the dinner? Waddles burps. Perfect. Absolutely delicious, Mabel. You're quite the chef, you know. Mabel beams happily at both of you. Also, Mabel, can we take the dessert to go? I want to take Ford somewhere on this date. Ford flushes scarlet at that. Mabel looks between the two of you and nods, waggling her brows at you. You sly dog. Of course. With a popsicle each, you lead Ford away from the shack, away from town and up a hill. Where are we going? Oh, this is it, but you point upwards with your popsicle, and a meteor shower? The timing seemed too perfect. You didn't want to miss out on seeing. I didn't want to miss out on seeing it with you. You both blush and sit down, shoulder to shoulder. I'm surprised you went looking into meteor showers, Echo. Well, after our last time searching for anomalies, I got curious about other celestial stuff. Also, Dipper told me about it. Plan B. Ford laughs. That kid's right. The twins are both very smart and very close for siblings. Ford pauses. It's obvious there's something on his mind. What's the matter, Ford? Ford turns to you. His mouth opens as if he was going to say more, but he closes it. I'm surprised at how close they are, practically inseparable. Stan and I were never like that. Aww. You seem like you are now. What happened? Well, we were very close. Best friends, but once we got to high school, things changed. You realize that Ford's hand is resting a few inches from yours, casually. So casually that you're almost casual Fridays themselves. You scoot your hand closer to his, still nervous to take it for yourself. it changed. We both changed. Ford sighs, leaning back on his palms. He notices your hand near, thinks for a moment, but decides to keep talking instead. Stan and I had plans when we were children. We were going to get on a boat and sail far away from our New Jersey home, far away from our friends, from our family, friends, and everyone. Just him and me and the Stanawar boat we fixed up. Ah, my nose. I had a chance at admission to the college of my dreams. My other dreams, anyways. I always thought the Stanawar was a lost childhood fantasy, and that one day we'd grow up and go our separate ways, and we couldn't be as close as we used to be. My acceptance into that college hinged on the results of my success for the science fair project, a perpetual motion machine that I had designed. The machine was flawless. The calculations were checked, triple checked. I had rehearsed my full presentation in preparation. I could practically see myself in that university, studying with the endless resources at my disposal, and getting several doctorates. Ford sighs again, rubbing his temples. But... It was the day of the science fair. The admissions teams from the university were there. In front of me, ready to view my machine, I pulled off the cloth cover, and it was broken. My entire future was ruined. Oh, Ford. A perpetual motion machine has one job: to not stop. The admissions team left, crossing me off their considerations, rejecting my entire presentation, my calculations, my hard work. My chances going to my dream school? Scrapped. It wasn't until I found a bag of toffee peanuts on the ground that I realized Stan had something to do with it. After that, we didn't talk for 10 years. I went to university, but it wasn't exactly my first choice. It wasn't until I came to Gravity Falls and that I saw Stan again, and he cuts himself off sharply, deeper in inflection. He looks so heartbroken, so sad. Ow, my soul. Take his hand. You gently rest your hand atop his. He glances down at your touch, but doesn't take his hand away. Rather, he slowly twists his wrist and intertwines your fingers with his. You don't have to keep going if it hurts. No, I'm fine. It has been good to talk about it in retrospect. Ford sucks in a deep breath. We fought. I hurt him. It wasn't on purpose, but I still hurt him. Then an accident happened, and I lost him again. I didn't see him for another 30 years after that. You're tempted to pry, to ask what the accident was, but Ford seems to finish with the story. He swallows nervously, awaiting a response. It wasn't your fault. You did what you thought was best in the moment, even if it hurt him. You didn't mean to, and you apologized. Didn't you? Yes, I did. If he truly cares for you, he'll know that. Ford exhales. He looks tired, wiser than you remember. The man you had played dungeons, and more dungeons with seems to have disappeared. You're right, Echo. I am? Ford turns and faces you. He squeezes your hand. You and you are... I never looked at it like that. I never looked at you like that. You're smarter than I expected. Man, it's hot up on this hill. Sweltering even. Maybe it's just you, who knows. Well, I have my moments, I suppose. I don't mean that kind of smart. I mean a different sort of smart. You're kind and caring, and... He suddenly realizes how close you both are. I've never met anyone as wonderful as you. The feeling's mutual, Ford. Kiss his cheek! You lean forward a little. Ford stiffens. Are you sure? Are you sure that... Ford. You cup his cheek in the palm of your hand, duck to the other side of his face, and gently press your lips to his cheek. His cheeks both flush pink, and you can feel the warmth under your fingertips. Wow. Better than the burnt chicken nuggets? Ford snorts, resting his forehead against yours. Far better. Unbelievably better. Yeah! I did it! Yeah! I did it! Ashlyn for the win! Woo! 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 The two of you head back towards the shack, hand in hand, in a comfortable silence. Once you reach the door, Ford grins sheepishly. I wanted to say thank you for tonight, for being there for me. Anytime, Ford. I had a great time. You stand at the door to his house like two teenagers on a first date. Well, you are, you suppose. Hopefully we can have more dates like this. Ford flushes red at the mere mention of a date, which is so adorable, you start laughing. Oh my god. He's precious! You precious nerd boys! Yes, we shall most definitely have to engage in more of these dates. With you and myself. Dating. Oh my god, this is adorable. I'm sorry. I get really giddy over the nerd boys. Look at this! It's adorable. You smile at him, and his brush farther spreads to the tips of his ears. He exhales, tugging at his collar. Well, if I get to see you smile like that again, then I'd be happy to have more dates. It's your turn to flush pink as you notice the front door swings open, and standing in the doorway is Mabel, who looks relieved to see you both. Where did you go? I gave you dessert and you abandoned me. You sly kids sneaking off to go have fun by yourselves. Did you have fun? Mabel, you're just a joy. We certainly did. Yee! I'm glad. Now come inside before you get bitten by mosquitoes. Oh, I went outside last night. I got bitten by lots of mosquitoes. Dipper yells from inside. Mine spell out! Mine spell out. Does that spell dating? You and Ford both shout what simultaneously like that. He's making that up for comedic effect. They really just look like a cat pot. What? Dipper appears at the front door with Mabel scratching at his arm. Yeah, I did. Wanna see the cat paw though? they're talking about the mosquito bites. Okay. You turn to Ford, who looks excited to see this connect the dots of mosquito bites. We'd love to, Dipper. I bet it doesn't have 6 toe beans. Toe beans! Come on, Dipper, I want to see now. Mabel grabs you, Dipper, and Ford, and you're tugged into the shack, your laughter echoing through into the woods around the house. Huh, it looks like this is actually working out. Call the caterers, I hear wedding bells. Oh my god. We're doing it! Well, I think we should do another. The dates continue in a quiet alcove of the Gravity Falls Library, and on the roof and the shack past midnight, they're simple compared to the production Mabel whipped up for the night of the meteor shower. Well, in all honesty, I think this was like a huge win. It was so cute. I actually really liked it. In all honesty, just absolutely adorable. You've learned more about him. Sorry, I'm clicking things over here. I gotta set everything up. You've learned more about him, but it's like he's still holding something back. In your conversations, it feels like he's just spent a year away sailing. But it's more like he spent half his life in another universe. Haha, technically he did. For instance, that during the afternoon at the library, he attempted to print nearly 3 decades worth of academics papers in physics. You reminded him about the existence of PDF downloads and USB drives. But whatever he's hiding, you're not sure you'll have to find out. The magic of stands worked on your car has rendered it almost operational again, meaning your time at Gravity Falls is coming to a close. And today's the last date you'll have with Ford. Oh no. You arrive at the Gravity Falls community pool. Just a minute after sunset, pinks, oranges, and yellows streak across the side. The sky like a splash of maple juice. Despite it being after hours in the community pool, the front gate is open. Thanks, Dipper. You swindle inside, taking in the abandoned floaties, and one of the several times special edition soggy towel on the floor. A few minutes pass before Ford arrives, signaled by his accidental slip on said several times towel, and a quiet curse of his clumsiness. Don't worry. I nearly stood on it too. Someone must have left it behind, though maybe for good reason. He picks up the towel and between a forefinger and thumb and something sticky drips off of Deep Chris's forehead. Ford shudders and drops it again. Children in their boy bands. Make sure Mabel's not around to hear that. I'm fairly certain she'd disown you. At least Baba actually has some good songs back in their day. Ford turns to look at you and you notice something. His curious expression softens as you stare at him. He makes his way over to you, tilting his head down in your direction. You curse him for being so dang tall and cute. Even though, Ford? Yes? You have a California fridge magnet stuck to your forehead. Ford immediately flushes bright red, his eyes wide in surprise. Really? You pull the magnet off his forehead, examine it for a moment, then lightly tap his nose with it. He flushes a somewhat deeper pink, grinning bashfully at you. Ford sits on the edge of the pool and dangles his feet in. Having not worn a swimsuit, you have one in your clothing. You're kind of nervous to get undressed. I have no shame. You shrug and start taking off your clothes, which promptly startles Ford into an even deeper embarrassment. You sit with Ford at the edge of the pool, swinging your legs back and forth in the water. The two of you sit in silence for a moment. Do you go swimming a lot? Me, no. I used to swim a lot as a child, since we lived close to the ocean, but now, not really. Why not? Never had the time, I suppose. I was always so busy with my work that I never even realized we even had a community pool until Mabel told me about it. Ford goes quiet again. His hand skims across the surface of the water, tracing tiny waves with his fingers. He looks to be deep in thought, like something's troubling him. What's the matter? He looks at you, wide-eyed and blinking behind his thick glasses. Oh, nothing, just thinking. You stay silent, instead swirling your finger on the water too, occasionally curling your fingers around his. It's an accident, of course. Eventually you both stop messing with the water and leave your fingers linked together, which gradually turns into his hand taking yours and all of your fingers intertwining, knuckles brushing against the water. I would imagine that holding a hand with someone with 6 fingers would be like just entrap all of your fingers in a handhold. Like, it wouldn't be uncomfortable either. It'd just be like all of your fingers are just nice and held. And there's not always one just hanging out. It's just comfortable. Seems relaxing. Ford swallows. Out of the corner of your eyes, you see his face tinted pink. It's probably not just from the sunset. He seems nervous. More nervous than on your Mabel-certified date of dreams. This is strange considering the context. That one was pretty forced. Ford, do you trust me? The question comes in one breath, out of nowhere. His grip on your hand tightens. Yes, of course. He rubs the back of his neck with his free hand, a small, reflexive gesture, his 6 fingers dipping beneath the high collar of his sweater. There are things I haven't told you yet. Things about myself. Things I'm not sure you'd like. Of course, there's the great Uncle Ford sides of things, what with Dipper and Mabel, but you, don't really know what happened to me while I was studying here, 30 years ago. Well, okay. When you're ready, you can tell me. Ford, you don't have to go into detail about it if you're not ready to. Ford looks down at the water at his reflection. He frowns and closes his eyes and thinks for a moment. You've proven yourself to be a good companion, to put it lightly, of course. Of course, the whole dating thing. He blushes. Ford coughs when you start giggling. Well, what I mean is, there's nothing about you that could do me significant harm. Just wait until I peel off my human skin and become a lizard person. Within the set of species residing in this earth, there exists a race of lizard people, and surely they walk among us, Echo. That subject is no joking matter. You stare at him, an eyebrow raised. Both of you burst out laughing. The sound echoing in the empty pool. From the corner of your eye, you notice Ford scooting closer to you. Oh, lovely. Echo, You hadn't heard of Gravity Falls until, well, you crashed into the shack because of my magnet gun, correct? I read about the shack being a tourist trap in Oregon. That's just about it. Gravity Falls wasn't even on my map. Why do you ask? Well, that's to be expected. Most people don't know about Gravity Falls until they see it for themselves or do elaborate research of it. Remember when we went hunting for the Mothman? How I warned you that the other creatures that could be found in the woods and around the town? I'll never forget our grand adventure. Yes, our adventure. You think back to your first time hanging out, finding the Mothman. You hadn't even known what Ford was like back then. Privately, you could consider it almost like a first date. Well, my point was, there's so many more oddities, bizarre creatures, geographical anomalies, and secret societies and strange town people. Like I've said before, the correct concentration of weirdness is what drew me to Gravity Falls in the first place, and made it the perfect place to conduct my research. Why was the weirdness centralized to Gravity Falls? Exactly! That's what I wondered! My biggest question during these studies was why? Why is this town so strange? I tried to find an answer, a unifying theory that would pull my research together and finally grant me success. But I hit a wall in my search and I had no ideas, no light, no leads, and no one to help me until I found a being by the name of Bill Cipher. He came to me in my dreams, claiming he was a godly muse, a friend, someone who could do a lot with little help. And I believed him. Oh. Ford continues with a certain bitterness. You've certainly never heard in his tone before. I put my unconditional trust in him. I asked for his wisdom, his guidance, and I put him on a godly pedestal and worshipped him, even going as far as to litter my house with his image. Did you build the door? What happened to it? Well, when I consulted Bill about my unifying theory, he told me my answer must lay in another dimension, and he could help me build a portal to it. Obviously, I built it without hesitation, without thought. Instead of being a doorway to a weirdness dimension, as I'd been left to believe, it turned out to be the nightmare realm. Bill's realm. He had tricked me. All he had wanted was to cross into our dimension, muddle it out into his own creative image, and I shut the portal down before his plans could be realized. But it was too late. My mind was in shambles from Bill's influence. I should have ended it. I should have torn the portal down, but I had so much into making it work. I hid the instructions for its operations. Instead, I entrusted a piece of it to Stanley. But after 10 years apart, Ford paused this, sucking in a deep breath. We fought. In the midst of it all, one of us pushed a button, pulled a switch, the portal was reactivated that day, and I was pulled into it. I spent the next 30 years in that portal. Years of searching an answer to a new question. How to defeat the Bill once and for all. But I was pulled back into this dimension, my home dimension. Too early and all this frustration came crashing down. In this tiny town, in a grand multiverse, I truly believed I was meant for something more. Bill told me that I would change the world. I never questioned if it would be for better or for worse. You were doing what you thought was best. At the time, of course, but I didn't realize the repercussions of my actions would be so catastrophic. But you did it, right? Did what? Built the portal, left, came back, etc. Otherwise, you wouldn't be here? I did, yes, but I didn't do it alone. I was pulled back through the portal by Stanley himself, and Deborah and Mabel, of course. However, because the portal had been reactivated, Bill could enter our world at any time. I destroyed the portal device once and for all, but what was left was an interdimensional rift in space-time, left over from the portal's last operation. It had the potential to let Bill through to our dimension. I contained it, but the rift shattered. Bill entered the physical realm and wreaked havoc on Gravity Falls in an event called Weirdmageddon. What did you do? Me? Oh, I was captured, turned into a sideshow at the Devil's right hand, while my family was left to deal with the remains of my grave mistake. Ouch. It was the apocalypse. Weirdness exploding from every corner, anomalies I couldn't even explain. Everywhere. It was all Bill's doing. But he breathes out, frustrated with himself. It was my fault. As much as I would want to go back on myself, say that it wasn't, but I still caused the whole thing. I brought Bill here, I helped him with his plan. You didn't mean to cause the end of the world. You made a mistake. All of us do. Sometimes. You wanted knowledge about things outside this world, and yeah, it ended up badly. We all mess up. Ford is quiet, but he's looking at you from the corner of his eye. I've messed up a lot, you know? We're human beings. Sometimes you hurt someone. Sometimes you cause Weirdmageddon. But you didn't mean to do it. But no buts. You're human, Ford. Even if it was awful and you blame yourself, you didn't falter because of it. You stopped Bill, right? It's all okay now. You live and you learn. Ford nods, squeezing your hand. It was awful and bad, yeah. You messed up. But it doesn't define you. You're incredibly intelligent and fun to hang out with. And sure, sometimes I don't understand half the sciencey stuff that comes out of your mouth, but that's part of you. And it makes me like you all the same. Ford finally turns to look at you. He winds an arm around your shoulder and you scoot closer and complete the hug, draping your arm across his middle and hugging him tight. Thank you for listening to me ramble. It wasn't rambling, it was your life. And I'm very happy to learn more about it, whenever you want to tell me more. Ford pauses, thinking. My favorite snack food is jelly beans, and I hate toffee peanuts. Honestly, I kind of guessed the whole jelly beans thing. Ford laughs, and you laugh with him, nuzzling into his chest. You feel him swallow before he presses his lips to the top of your head. Thank you. You're welcome, Ford. He smiles at you a moment longer, then falls as he sobers. I suppose I wanted to tell you because you're leaving soon. Acknowledgement, and in a matter of days, your time in Gravity Falls will be over. You should feel final. should feel final, but it feels distant. You sit back, relinquishing Ford's embrace, and he speaks again. Echo, what are you doing all after this? When you get your car back, what'll you do? I don't know yet. I'll see when I get there, I guess. It would be comforting to think that Ford will still be here in Gravity Falls for summers to come, but you recall that Stan and Ford don't even live on land anymore. They'll be setting sail again, exploring the seas and documenting the oddities of the world. From what you've already heard about it, it's intense. It's intense stuff that keeps them on the move and untethered. Tell him how you feel! Ford. Yes? Never mind. It's nothing. Let's just enjoy this. So you do. Sunlight starting to bleed between the pine trees as the sun sets on your last night in Gravity Falls. Let's continue, I guess. It's your last day in Gravity Falls. Weeks ago, you were worried that today would never come, but now that it's here, you don't know how to feel. Just yesterday, when Stan told you your car was good to go, you wanted to believe that there was something still left for him to fix. And yesterday evening, after your final dinner with the whole Pines family, and Seuss's back-breaking hug, you had almost resigned yourself to letting go. But now, in the clarity of daylight, you realize that these weird and wonderful people don't have to disappear from your life for good. You'll always have the memories, and you'll still be able to get in touch through letters, packages, video calls. They won't be able to get rid of you. Too late, suckers. Cherished friends for life. When you make your way out of the shack, you're met by the Pines, wattles and all, gathered beside a large tarp, covering what you would guess is your car. They're talking amongst themselves until they spot you. There they are! Thought you were gonna miss the big reveal. Now you guys. Ford and Stan each take an end of the tarp, pulling it off with a flourish as Mabel and Dipper throw handfuls of confetti in the air. Ta-da! The reveal is, indeed, your car. Besides a couple nicks here and there, it's hard to believe it's the same one you crashed a few weeks ago. Heck, it probably runs better than it did when you first got it. It looks amazing! You take it all in, running your hands along the hood, marveling at the spotless windows. Ford, can I call you next time I need to tune up? If this is what happens when you use that magnet gun, I might just ask you to total my car more often. Well, perhaps we can find a middle ground. Hey, no love for me? Don't forget who got you out of this whole mess in the first place. I could never. Trust me. I'll think of you every time I use my windshield wipers without jamming the button. You laugh, giving Stan a big hug in gratitude. Thank you, Stan. You turn to the whole family, taking a moment in. And thanks to all of you for everything. It's been unforgettable. Familiar car keys back in your hand, you unlock your card and load your belongings into the truck. Mabel comes up and hands you a package, wrapped entirely in ribbons and bows, winking. Just something to remember us by. Stan calls from where he stands with Ford, to the left of your car. I don't know what it is, but it's from me too. Oh, and me. Dipper simply shoots a thumbs up whenever you look at the label on Mabel's gift and you see his name already on it beside hers. I'd love to open it. You're about to pull at the ribbons, but Mabel chides you. No, you gotta open it out on the road after you leave. Or, well, when you rest at a rest stop because you're driving. Please don't get another accident. You tuck the gift into your trunk on top of everything else, making sure it'll be safe from being crushed. After Mabel, Waddles comes up to you as well and snorts at you. You give the little guy a loving pat. You're gonna miss that pig. You're really going to miss Gravity Falls too. I don't know what to say except I guess you're going to say goodbye when Ford interrupts you. Echo, wait. Oh boy. Come on, kids, back in the house. Nothing to see here. Aw, but I want to see! Bye. Stan shoos the kids back into the shack, leaving Ford and you alone outside. Ford steps closer to face you. Echo, I've never been great at relationships. In college, I ruined what chances I had, and anything after that is best left forgotten. But I think I want to try this with you, Echo, if you'll have me. No, I don't think I will. I want this too, Ford. I think this'll work. And I want to keep in touch. I wanted to ask for your number ages ago, but the shack's landline isn't exactly private. And I don't think you own a cell phone. Haha, no. Stanley's the one who bothers with sillier phones for the kids' sake. But I connected my watch to the interweb. And they say, and you can send me electronic mail or... Ford hands you a folded piece of paper, the parts with his cursive peeking from its folds. You almost start to unfold it before Ford places his hand over yours. You can send me a letter. This one's just to start us off. You look up at him and feel a desire to kiss him! You lean up and give him a parting kiss on the cheek. When you step back, he's blushing. You know, Echo, meeting you has made me incredibly glad that I made the mistake with my magnet gun. Now, stranding you here was a positive. Not that stranding you here was a positive, but remember me, alright? Same to you. Don't forget me while you're saving the world on the Stan War. Goodbye, Ford. Ford watches you get into your car and start the engine. You turn onto the road with ease. In the rearview mirror, you can see Ford waving goodbye, as well as Dipper, Mabel, and Stan from the shack. You smile at the sight and wait and say a last goodbye in the quiet of your car, watching until you have to focus on the road once more. A little longer, and you're through town, back on the open road. A sign passes on the right, now leaving Gravity Falls. My heart, my soul. It's not until you're at the next rest stop that you think to open Mabel's gift, or well, the Pines family's gift. You unwrap it and find... Mystery Shack souvenirs. A small, knitted square that Mabel has helpfully labeled mug sweater, and a photo. My heart, my soul. The end. Thank you for playing. Ah! We're missing something! This is beautiful. Okay, so we're going to go back. We're going to find the missing thing. Believe me, we are.